Oh no. Hello everyone, how are you? This is yours truly, Tech Your Guy, coming at you once again. And today I have a Dell XPS 15 7590 mid 2019. This video is being shot August 23rd, 2019. All right, so this laptop, XPS is known for its svelte dimensions and how ultra portable. However, some of that goes out the window as this is a 15-inch model sporting a 15.6-inch display panel. The chassis design is somewhat long in the tooth if you ask me. However, if you have a room for a full-blown 15-inch laptop in your backpack or a briefcase, possibly this one deserves a look. As far as the initial impressions are concerned, this laptop is not as light as you would think, as well as it's not as thin as you would think. However, the fit and finish of the way the laptop is put together is absolutely impeccable. Let's take a look at the laptop together. At the top panel, nothing really to write home about. The flex is very minimum. It's a unibody construction just like the MacBook Pros, and the base is absolutely solid. There is not a whole lot of a flex anywhere on the base. It is just a tank of a laptop. As far as the ports are concerned, on the left hand side what you would see is the barrel pin type of power connector, USB 3.1 type A connector, full-blown HDMI, and a Thunderbolt port, and an audio jack. And if you look to the right hand side, what you would find is a Kensington lock, battery status indicator, which I actually like a lot. I don't know why that does not come on. Oh, it is coming on. I just can't see the lights and the bright lighting that I have coming from the window. Another USB type A connector and a full SD card slot. As far as your interface points are concerned, the 15.6-inch screen is matte finish. They have three different flavors. I have the full HD 1920 by 1080 500 nits brightness display, which colors are vibrant. However, I wouldn't go out and on a limb and say this is one of the best displays I've ever seen. Keyboard, very solid, super nice to type on. I don't know actually if I prefer this keyboard over the ThinkPad keyboard. That's somewhat debatable. The trackpad is plenty large enough. Microsoft, the precision trackpad, the button feedback, everything just solid. So in terms of your eyes interfacing with the display, your hands, fingers interfacing with the keyboard and the trackpad, experience is nothing but pleasant. When we take a look at the bottom of the unit, all you're getting is the long rubber rails that raise up the laptop and the heat vents right underneath here, and then little XPS tag, and then there are two screws here that's holding down the bottom panel, as well as all these other screws, which indicates this laptop is user serviceable. So that said, now let's talk about the specs. This particular unit is sporting an Intel Core i7 9th generation Coffee Lake 9750. It's a 6-core CPU with a 12 megabytes cache on board. And this unit is equipped with the 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, and then PCIe NVMe M.2 solid state 256 gigabytes of internal storage, which obviously you can upgrade at additional cost. Aforementioned, the 15.6-inch display Full HD is driven by NVIDIA GTX 1650 GDDR5, and that graphics card comes in handy when you are pushing productivity apps and media creation apps like Premiere Pro. Now, Dell would tell you this is a Infinity Edge display, but as you see on the screen right now, the Edge, yes, the bezel is somewhat thin. However, it is nothing compared to, for instance, my XPS 13 that I have here, where the edge is the display bezel is a lot thinner. and actually really disappears as the viewable display panel meets the actual bezel. In terms of wireless connectivity is concerned, this laptop has Bluetooth 5.0 and killer AX1650 Wi-Fi 6 on board. In terms of a power consumption is concerned, onboard battery is a 6-cell battery, 97 watts, and Dell gives you 130 watts power adapter that will charge your laptop. That said, you are able to, if you have one of the power chargers for like a MacBook Pro, something that uses the USB Type-C, you are able to use this port right here, Thunderbolt port, to charge. Although you will get a warning if you plug in a charger that is below 130 watts. All right, so now that we have covered all the facts, let's talk about what I like and what I not necessarily care for. There's really a lot of good stuff going on with this laptop. The keyboard is absolutely solid. The experience is somewhat, dare I say, do I even like this keyboard more than the legendary ThinkPad keyboard? That's going to be debatable because the all-day typing experience on this laptop is absolutely superb. That said, this keyboard trumps the butterfly keyboard offered by Apple on their MacBook and MacBook Pro line of laptops. The feedback, travel, and everything far superior. Earlier, as I was going over the laptop, I didn't show you, but the webcam you would use for something like Skype, Facebook Messenger, or whatever, the webcam has now moved over to its proper position, which is the top bezel instead of on the bottom bezel looking straight up your nostril. So the chin cam is gone. The webcam is now properly positioned. This laptop, obviously, when you look at it, there's no party here. There's no flashing RGB. It doesn't have the garish look of any gamer laptop. So this has the very sophisticated look, but it is packing a considerable performance punch. Just the performance is just eye-watering with the 9th gen i7 coupled with the 16 gig of ample amount of RAM. It is just blistering for your day-to-day work needs. You have bevy of ports left and right, plenty serviceable. And speaking of serviceable, I love the fact that the chassis maintains its design where you are able to open up the bottom of the laptop and replace your solid state. It's just a standard NVMe M.2, which you can swap out to increase capacity or whatever. Also, there are 2 slots of RAM underneath the cover where you can easily upgrade RAM should you desire. It's not soldered on like Apple's. So in terms of things that I don't much care for, really, there's not a whole lot that is wrong with this laptop. Now, if you're buying this laptop with an impression that this is a light and thin laptop just because it carries the label XPS, you may be in for a surprise, as it is not as thin as you would think. So the design showing its age, it's somewhat dated, and that's where I would kind of split hair here and mention as only downside of this laptop. However, the aluminum, just precision made, it's so solid. I don't have words to describe how nice this laptop is. However, just as with my 13-inch, it has this aluminum finish on the top and bottom, which would be prone to scratches as it goes in and out of the back. And I'll give you a quick size comparison between the 15 and the 13 right there. Let me line it up. There we go. All right, so there you go. So you can see the 13-inch versus 15 inches. So it's quite large actually. But if you're old like me, where your vision is kind of going away, the whole 15.6-inch screen 1080 is actually really nice. Dell does offer you 4K OLED as well as 4K touchscreen as well. The 4K with that, the display resolution scaling, you can still somewhat interface okay, but I think the 1080 Full HD works fine for my needs. So if you have needs for larger screen like this, such as you're pushing pixels in Photoshop and you're creating you're creating videos in Premiere Pro and all day. Awesome. So as far as battery is concerned, my typical test, which would be screen brightness at 80%, multiple tabs open in Chrome, and Wi-Fi firing, and in and out of Word, Excel, and a little bit of a Premiere Pro work and Photoshop work, and one streaming of Netflix via the aforementioned Wi-Fi. It does last you slightly over 7 hours, but not quite 8 hours. So it will fail the all day, I'm not carrying a charger test. So your mileage will vary, because if your work involves heavy rendering and you're applying LUTs in Premiere Pro, so if that's most of your workday, then obviously it's not even going to last you 7 hours, because you are taking advantage of all the horsepower that the computer will provide. However, if that's not your kind of work and your work is rather casual, then you just have a lot of performance available to you, and your battery will last you a bit longer. All right, so that kind of wraps up my quick review of Dell XPS 7950 mid-2019. It is a solid performer, packs a lot of punch, huge performance. If that's sort of your thing, I highly recommend. All right, you've been awesome. I've been Tech Your Guy. Thank you for your time watching. Until next time, take care.